Hello, glad to have you join us on CoreTV News Hour. I am Frank Omalape, and here are some of the stories we're filing at this time. Due to the increase in Boko Haram attacks on some parts of Adamawa State, the government on Saturday Islamic curfew in every part of the state. Though there has been curfew in some part of the state for some time now. The government made the declaration in a press statement signed and issued by the Secretary to the State Government, Ibrahim Welye. The curfew will now commence from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. daily. However, he stated that those on essential services and with permit are allowed to carry out their duties. Following the recent attacks in Mobi and environs, the Adamawa State Governor Balangilari has called on the people to pray for the return of peace and tranquility in the state. The government made the call during a statewide broadcast. Ngilari says he is doing his best to alleviate the suffering of the people.
It is with a deep sense of sorrow and pain in my heart that I address you today. You are all aware of the recent attacks by insurgents at Uba, Maraba Mubi, Mubi Town, and other towns in our state that have left a number of our citizens dead and scores of others displaced and unquantified loss of property. I wish to reassure you that I am doing all I can with my team to address this situation. I've also been in touch with the presidency and the office of the Minister of Foreign Affairs to address the issue of our citizens who are now refugees in the Cameroons. I'll continue to do all I can until they are provided with basic necessities such as food, water, and until they are brought back to our state to reunite with their loved ones, families, and friends. I want to call on all the citizens of our state to continue in earnest prayers that God will take away this scourge of insurgency and restore the peace and tranquility that our state has always been known for.
The Christian Association of Nigeria, CAN, has condemned recent violent attacks carried out by Boko Haram sects on Christian and churches in Adamawa State and Motor Park in Gombe State. Following this development, it called for the resignation of the National Security Advisor Sambada Suki and Minister of Defense Ali Guso. While the attack in Adamawa State was said to have also affected civilians, police stations, prisons, and military formations in different parts of the state, bomb explosions at the Gombe Motor Park was said to have killed over 30 persons and left several others injured. Can't therefore wonder why the NSA and the Defense Minister have not voluntarily resigned their appointments for poor coordination of relevant agencies to tackle the security challenges in the northeast region of the country, despite the huge budgetary allocations for the purpose. The General Secretary of CAN, Musa Shake, in a statement issued on Saturday in Abuja, maintained that the recent insurgency in the northeastern part of the country had confirmed the association's position all along that the Islamic group has no other mission than to annihilate all Christians in the region and install an Islamic regime. Ekiti State Governor Ayo Fayoshi is comparing his stomach infrastructure initiative with the social security package of some of the developed economies of the world. Fayoshi maintains that without adequate care, especially food for citizens, governance might be impossible. He also argued that he has no regret relating with people at all levels.
On stomach infrastructure, Christmas is coming. Why do people go out of their way to be shopping, to be buying this, to be encouraging this, to be giving gifts? It's just to make the heart of a man happy. So for me, I am grooming chicken now, broilers, plenty, rice, all sorts. I will buy all yams you cannot sell. I will buy dodo that you cannot sell. I will bring it back, but buy them. If I give away a chicken, chicken, you and your children will be happy people at Christmas. And some of them don't even have 20 naira not to say buying chicken. So stomach infrastructure is a way of life. Even if I cannot do anything, and I continue to help your stomach so that your life will keep on going. The next thing I want you to know that most people that commit crime in this life commit such crime because they have gone as far as the wall. They cannot equally, life is not worthy of living for them anymore. Can't feed today or in the morning gari, ale gari. Nobody is intervening to say there is another life somewhere. So my style is without apology. Stomach infrastructure is a way of life for me. If you are selling boli, I'll come there. If you are doing anything, I will be there as long as I am available in town. And I go to all the beer parlors on Friday. If I can buy 3-4 cartons to drink. I go to like 20 beer parlors on a Friday. Everybody knows they are expecting me. Because what makes you happy might not make another man happy. Governance is not church. It's about diverse characters, and you must relate to them as such.
Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose. Meanwhile, the Ekiti Council of Elders has advised Fayose to place premium on projects that will add immediate value to the lives of the citizens. It also asked him to tackle the dwindling results of the state by improving on the internally generated revenue. In a communique signed by its chairman, Deji Fasuan, after its ordinary meeting at the weekend, the council, which advised the governor to de-emphasize reference for capital projects with long gestation periods, said it appeared that the Ekiti people had no tolerance for projects that had no immediate value on their lives. The elders noted that immediate past government made tremendous efforts at improving the state IGR. It, however, stated that the feat was still abysmally low compared to other political units in Nigeria. It appealed to Ekitis at home and in diaspora to invest in the state to support effort by the government to provide employment. The council also appealed to politicians irrespective of their party leanings to sustain the relative peace being enjoyed after the June 21 governorship election in the state. You're still watching CoreTV News Hour. We'll take a break now. We'll be back shortly with more stories. Do join us again.
Der Torschütze zum zwischenzeitlichen 1:1. Emenike schickt Musa, da ist Ahmed Musa! Und da ist der Ausgleich!
It's a beautiful Saturday evening in the city of Lagos.
Off the turn, Phelps had it, but then Matsui kept going.
Finals. 5 to shoot. Leonard does.
Sports is concerned, and of course, making a difference for all of us here, for all of us. Thanks for one pleasure.
For updating our news and other programs, visit our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/CoreTV News. And our Twitter handle at CoreTV News NG. You can also log on to www.youtube.com/CoreTV, with space, then news. The People's Democratic Movement, PDM, has elected new national executive at a convention which ended in the early hours of Saturday. Former interim chairman Bashir Yusuf emerged the new national chairman by consensus, and speaking later with newsmen, he described PDM as the real change agent in the polity. The PDM chairman lamented that politics in Nigeria is associated with deceit, but argued that this party is set to raise the bar.
In Africa, our infrastructure is first class, except for power. Our roads are first class in Africa, in the context of Africa. Although we are at zero in power, in power supply. But in Human Development Index, employment, infant mortality, all the things that, quality of education, all the things that develop the human being. In Africa, we are in the bottom 10. Without bringing this country back together, Nigeria will not go anywhere. So the first and most important item on the agenda of the People's Democratic Movement is to play a role, a leading role in reuniting this country. To take religion, ethnicity, and section out of our political arena. Nigeria today is said to be the largest economy in Africa. But the largest economy in Africa, with 175 million people, have 110 or 112 million Nigerians living in poverty. So it's a country of great inequality. It is our responsibility to democratize opportunity so that prosperity becomes the right of every citizen of Nigeria, not the right of a very few.
Kaduna State Governor Mukhtar Yero has commended members of the People's Democratic Party across the state on the peaceful conduct of the World Congresses to elect delegates for the forthcoming primary elections. Speaking after taking part in the World Congress at his Kaura ward in Zara local government area, the governor said a peaceful exercise is an indication of the unity and internal cohesion within the party. Yero said reports from across the state indicated that members of the party have once again demonstrated that PDP remains a big, united family. As the 2015 general elections draw near, the Osun State Police Command has organized a one-day stakeholders workshop on the role, conduct, and expectations of police in electioneering process. The workshop, which brought together all stakeholders, was held at the police headquarters in Osogbo, the Osun State capital. Our correspondent, Rashi, tells us more.
Stemming from the primary role of the police force in the protection of lives and property, the civic duty of elections in Nigeria is seen as one of the cardinal responsibility of the police. The workshop drew resource persons who dwell on the need of the police to have a good knowledge of electoral procedures, the application of such procedures, and how to make themselves applicable to the laws.
Electoral Act, especially Section 129 of the Electoral Act, makes specific provision of offenses that could be committed on election days. And because of the sensitive nature of that day, there are certain procedures.
When someone knows the law, he will be able to identify a breach of that law. So once the police are able to know what the electoral offences are, when they see one, they will be able to curtail it.
The police should be more efficient and dutiful. It's only when they are able to do that that we can have a clean and safe environment.
Political parties and other stakeholders shared their thoughts and observation on the workshop.
It reminds us of the dictates of the law, the requirements, the duties, the obligations, everything that has to do with election.
Kind of conference workshop should be extended to more audience, especially in the rural areas where the citizenry, the entire citizenry can listen to, can be educated on their rights and their limitations and their boundaries, so that the unsuspected youths and adults will not be used for what they are not supposed to.
Describing the workshop as a welcome development, civil organizations speak on the need for election security to be sole responsibility of the police.
How can you involve military in an election that is a democratic military that send us to prison, that jail us, that don't want democracy in Nigeria? You are involving them in the election. It is aberration. Apart from the fact that it is aberration, the constitution prone at it, the electoral act disagree, the electoral act condemn it.
I think it's all supposed to be going on every now and then, because what we have been looking into today is what we're supposed to be exchanging views every now and then.
Though very timely and educating, the lessons learned from the workshop will be put to test during the 2015 general elections. Rashid, CoreTV News, Oshogbo.
The recent revelation by Nigeria's oil sector managers that about 80% of the nation's oil pipeline have been vandalized is worrying even to the average Nigerian. The development has resulted in rise in the cases of oil theft and illegal bunkering in the country, especially in the Niger Delta, Nigeria's oil production base. The oil theft has continued unabated despite effort by the federal government to curb the activities of oil pipeline vendors and their cohorts. A correspondent of Motayo Alo in this special report takes a look at the implosion of the criminal activities and their attendance effects on the Nigerian economy as well as the overall development of the country. Her reports.
We need to diversify our economy. One of the key issues is that we cannot continue to be, and we keep on saying all the time, a monoproduct economy. There's need for us to look at other sources of revenue. Be that as is may, I believe that also we need to have the political will to confront head-on some of these abuses and some of this sabotage and some of this stuff that is going on.
These security alerts by the Chairman Senate Committee on the Environment and Ecology, Bukola Saraki, leaves much to be desired, especially as it concerns the far-reaching damaging effects of oil theft, an illicit trade that involves the theft of crude oil and its derivative products through a variety of different mechanisms with significant economic, social, environmental, governance, and security implications, and contributed immensely to the poverty was recently confronted by the Nigerian Navy at the Majidun waterways in the Ikorodu area of Lagos. The community is enmeshed in extreme poverty, depicting the poor standard of living of its people. But there appears more to this, as the look of the environment tends to shield the activities of the perpetrators from the prying eyes of security agents. For this retired Nigerian colonel, the theft of oil would continue unabated if the poor are being relegated to the background. He added that Nigeria will continue to be economically vulnerable until it pays more attention to other resources outside oil.
So long as there are no other sources and the officially gathered fund from the oil cannot be properly shared, there will be stealing of oil. We cannot deceive ourselves. People will beat it. People will die on it. People will smuggle. So long as we are depending on that mono product as a means of our sustenance. But if we diversify, then there will be less pressure on the oil, and stealing, theft will reduce.
Illegal practitioner Malaki Ugwomadu says corruption in high places has hampered the fight against oil thieves.
It is not their responsibility to get a few scapegoats just so that you give the signal to people who may be tempted to go into that by effectively prosecuting those who are culpable and those who have been arrested for oil theft.
Recently, after successfully intercepting over 2,050-liter containers containing oil products on the Majidun waterways and its surrounding creeks, the flag officer commanding of the Nigerian Navy Western Naval Command, Somi Alade, says oil thieves cannot be identified except they are caught and made to reveal their accomplice.
We need more resources so that we can procure more seagoing platforms, then we can procure more weapons, then we can also procure all other, items, relating to our operations, at sea.
Before the interception of the Navy, CoreTV News gathered that thousands of tons of oil are spirited away daily in the last 10 years without anyone batting an eyelid. Apart from the activities sabotaging the economy and putting public finance in jeopardy, the aquatic life of the community has been destroyed, while security of residents in the areas hosting the illegal businesses is under serious threat. However, some Nigerians believe there can't be a smoke without fire and called on government to take a step further by probing oil industry experts who are involved in the dirty business. The worry for them is the vandals could not have developed the expertise to vandalism of oil pipelines without internal connivance. Omotayo Alo, CoreTV News, Lagos.
You're still watching CoreTV News Hour. We'll take another break now. We'll be back shortly with more stories outside Nigeria. Stay with us.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, our 24-hour news station.
Glad to have you back now outside Nigeria. Burkina Faso army chiefs have backed military officers as transition of a president. In a statement, the army said Isaac Zida was chosen unanimously to lead the transition period. This appears to end confusion over who has succeeded President Blaise Compaoré, who stood down amid unrest. The statement was signed by Army Chief Honoré Traoré, who had earlier declared himself head of state. Compaoré will quit after 27 years as president, fled the country, and is now in Yamoussoukro, the capital of neighboring Ivory Coast. A statement from the office of President Alassane Ouattara says Ivory Coast took in Compaoré, his family, and those close to him, and was paying particular attention to events in Burkina Faso. Zida, previously second in command of the Presidential Guard, was like Traoré, very close to the former president, and his rise raises questions over the army's intentions. Under the country's constitution, the president of the Senate should take over after the national president resigns, with elections taking place between 60 and 90 days afterward. And that's a wrap on CoreTV News at this time. Many thanks for watching. I am Frank Omalape. I'll see you again.